Ahoy, Quest for Thunder. It's the 2nd of June, Saturday, and we're back at the boat once again. Today what we're going to do is we're just doing a little bit of caulking around the windows. And we're doing some evaluation in the head to see how we were going to proceed with the bulkheads in there, and also in some of the cabinetry in the salon, main salon, to basically see what we are going to do in the main salon. So what we've determined is that in a couple of the cabinets, the ones with doors on them, that we're just going to paint, and we'll probably use like a bilge coat or something like that that's thick in those cabinets. And then the ones that are open that don't have a door, we've decided to use a hull liner, and so we'll put the hull liner in, and that should look nice. There's a couple other places we're going to use hull liner as well. At the nav station, down beside the desk, there's a portion of the hull that's exposed there, and we'll put hull liner there. Up by the desk there's a big section as well, but it's going to have a cabinet in there, and it's going to be covered where we'll mount instruments, so it won't be able to be seen, so we're not going to bother, obviously. And there's also a very large cabinet in the galley, and I'm not sure how we're going to handle that. I think we might just paint that too, because once we get the actual cabinetry back in, where the plates and all that and the glasses go, and then the sliding door portion at the bottom, I don't think you'll be able to see much back there, and it'll just be white back there, so I think that'll be fine. So I think we're going to do that. In the aft cabin, one of the things that what we did was we took down all this old vinyl back there, and so we're going to be using a hull liner on the aft cabin as well. So let me just show you real quick what the plan is. Okay, so here we are in the aft cabin, and it's pretty dark, so I'm not sure you can see, but you can see the hull back there. That's just raw fiberglass. That's basically the hull, and it goes around this cabinetry work, goes around the back, all the way around the back, and then it comes up on this side of the aft cabin. So all of that's going to be a hull liner. We're going to put a hull liner in there to cover all of that. Where you see the screws, the bolts that are penetrating through the hull there, we're going to take a piece of trim, and we're going to rat out the inside of it, and then we'll place that trim over those bolts that stick out. That's on both sides. We'll have that same situation on both sides. Now you can see here where we have this wood that lines the upper portion of the bulkhead. Now this is the way it was in the main salon. It was like this, with this plywood with a teak veneer on it, and you can see by this port light that there's been a little bit of water damage. Now these are in good shape. There's no rot, they're solid, and so they're in good shape. So what we're going to do here is we're going to sand them down, and we're going to prime them. You can see I'm going all the way around here, taking the trim off the bottom there. We're going to prime these, and we're going to paint them white. So that'll be a nice, it'll lighten it up in here. It'll be a nice contrast with the other cabinetry that we have in here. That's the door right there. This is the doorway to the engine room right here. So once we paint this stuff white, it'll make it a lot brighter in here. And then of course the overhead, again, it's the same situation in here with the overhead. We're putting beadboard up in here, and I'm actually getting some help with the beadboard application. And again, here's the completed interior after we faired out the hull and painted it white. You can see how much nicer it looks in here. So as you can see, we still have quite a lot to do, but we are moving right along. The heads, they're a fairly small area, and we'll just do the same thing. I'll fair the fiberglass out with the Bondo, and then I'll paint it. And in there we're going to use a oil-based enamel in there because it's a damp area, and we want something that's got a nice hard shell and won't be the water won't have an effect on it. So that's what we'll be doing in there. And Gene's going to be picking out a couple of colors. I think we're going to go with something other than white in there. So that's where we're at today. Like I said, we're just going to be doing some caulking around the port lights here in the main salon. Also, these port lights, if you can see behind me how they're frosted over. They're very old. Obviously, the boat is over 30 years old, so these port lights have been kind of frosted. They're opaque now. You can't see through them. So I've been doing some research on fixing that. To replace these port lights would be an expense I'm not willing to incur on the boat. A boat this age, I just don't want to take them out and try to replace them. It'd just be very expensive. They don't leak, so I don't want to do it. I did try to take one out when we were getting ready to take the plywood off the bulkheads back here, because it was damaged and we wanted to take it off and paint the fiberglass, and it was a bear. I couldn't get it off, and so I probably wind up damaging the opening trying to take them off. So I'm just gonna hedge my bets on that and leave them in and try to clean up the glass. Now, I have done some research, and it's my understanding that you can use a metal polish like Mother's, which is for automotive, and it supposedly works really well. In fact, I've seen a couple of YouTube videos of a guy using it to clear up hazed over port lights. It's a pretty safe method. You don't run the risk of damaging your port light. There is another method where you can use a torch and you flame the glass. In this particular case, it's a plexiglass, so you flame it and it smooths out the surface. But you got to be really careful. If you leave it in one place too long, you could burn it or melt it, and that would just be bad. So I don't think I'm going to go down that route. We're going to try this metal polish first and see how it works. What I saw on YouTube, it looked great. I mean, even if it doesn't completely make it 100% clear, anything will be an improvement over what it is at the moment. So that's what we're gonna do. So stay tuned. I'm gonna spare you watching me put caulk around some port lights, but we're kind of this is a kind of a slow day. We're not doing that much today, mostly because I'm really getting ready to do the overhead, and so I'm getting some professional help to do that. They're taking some measurements and sourcing materials at the moment, and so I'm kind of waiting to get that done and before I move on. But I'll probably start working in the heads, at least one of them, next week. I'll be doing the same thing I was doing out here in the main salon, but it should take a lot less time. First of all, I know what I'm doing now. I've done it, and secondly, it's a much smaller space. So anyway, that's what we're up to today. Not much, just a brief update to let you know we're still out here, still plodding away, and we're still working to make Thunder a livable place. It's a lot cleaner down here. Gene spent a lot of time last week while I was doing some other stuff, cleaning down here while we were trying to fix that skin fitting, which we were able to do. And we're hopeful that tomorrow, weather permitting, we'll be taking the boat out, and so we'll get some video of that too. All right, well, from the crew of Thunder, here's wishing you fair winds and following seas.